Welcome back. We are entering into the receptors for the action of hormones. In the previous slides, we had seen that the hormones are acting through certain molecules called receptors, and that the receptors are present sometimes on the surface of the cell membrane or in the cytoplasm or in the cell nucleus. We are going to study this topic in detail. Here is a type of receptor. We call it ion channel linked receptor. But remember, always the molecule acting here may not be a hormone. Sometimes it may be a second messenger or some other molecule also. You know what happens here? Look at the diagram. What you see here is a membrane of the cell. On the membrane, there is a transmembrane protein here. This is one protein, this is the other protein. And there is a signaling molecule. This signaling molecule may be a hormone, may be a second messenger, may be some other molecule. Anyway, that molecule is binding with this receptor molecule. Now you see, the receptor molecule is a closed channel. It was a channel, but it is a closed channel. But when the signaling molecule is bound to the receptor, the conformation of the receptor changes such that a channel is now opened. What's the purpose of this channel? You see, different ions are there on one side of this receptor. Because of the opened channel, these ions can now move across the channel to the other side of the membrane. Maybe from a synaptic cleft into the cell. This is just an example. Anyway, such a binding of a signaling molecule to a receptor can lead to the entry or exit of some specific ions from a cell or into a cell. Now, what are the ions which are moving like that? See, sodium, calcium, magnesium, etc. can pass across the membrane like that. Most commonly, it is calcium ion. You see, we were talking about ion channel linked receptor. It is especially functional in the case of neurotransmitters. You have heard of neurotransmitters in the case of the functioning of neural system. Acetylcholine, norepinephrine, etc. are molecules. They combine with the receptors in the postsynaptic membrane. This will cause a change in the structure of the receptor molecule, opening a channel. And when these channels are opened, some molecules are entering into the cells. Okay, let us come to the previous one. So this signaling molecule may be acetylcholine or it may be norepinephrine in some examples. Now, what if the ions are entering? Once the ions are entering into the space, it will lead to a series of chemical reactions. Although a few hormones may exert some of their actions through such type of receptors, most hormones that open or close ion channels do this indirectly by coupling with the G protein linked receptors. We will see in the next slides. You see here, actually this is a picture, this is another picture, both are related. Let us see. This is a neuron. A neuron is transmitting message in this direction. This is the direction of the transmission of the impulse. This is a presynaptic node. This membrane is the presynaptic membrane. This what you see here is the synaptic cleft and this is the postsynaptic neuron. You see, point 1, action potential arrives at the axon end. And here you can see synaptic vesicles are there. These synaptic vesicles contain some particles. Actually, these particles are neurotransmitters. Let us come to this diagram. You see, this is the synaptic vesicles. This synaptic vesicle contains the neurotransmitter. Can you give an example for a neurotransmitter? Acetylcholine is an example for a neurotransmitter. Now what happens? When the action potential is arriving at this part of the presynaptic membrane, it induces voltage gated calcium channels to open. See here, can you see here? This is a channel. This is a channel. This is a channel. What channel? A protein. In the previous slide, we found that some channels may be opened because of some activity. So like that, this is a voltage gated channel. Here, this calcium channel is opened when the action potential is arriving upon the membrane. When the action potential is not there, the channels remain closed. So the channel is opened, and in the synaptic cleft, calcium ions are there. The calcium ions are entering into the presynaptic membrane. So when the action potential arrives at the presynaptic membrane, it induces opening of the voltage gated calcium channels. So calcium ions are entering from the synaptic cleft into the presynaptic membrane. Okay. Yes. Now what happens? These calcium ions are fusing with the synaptic vesicles. The synaptic vesicles move to the presynaptic membrane. Both of them fuse together, and the neurotransmitter present inside the synaptic vesicles are released into the synaptic cleft. So entry of calcium ions into the presynaptic membrane induces the synaptic vesicles to fuse with the presynaptic membrane and release the neurotransmitter into the synaptic cleft. Then what happens? Once the neurotransmitters are released, they bind with specific receptors on the postsynaptic membrane. Let us come to this figure. You see the neurotransmitters are released. Here you can see this is the postsynaptic membrane. On the postsynaptic membrane we have these things. What are these? This is the receptor for the neurotransmitter being released. Here you can see a neurotransmitter is already bound with the receptor. So binding of the neurotransmitter with the receptor on the postsynaptic membrane induces the signal to be continued from here. Now it induces chemical changes on the postsynaptic cell. Okay. So here these two parts are explained better in this diagram. Here you can see the postsynaptic neuron. It is this neuron. Here you can see this is the presynaptic neuron, which is this one, while this is the postsynaptic neuron, that means it is this one. In between them we have the synaptic cleft. You see what happens, once here the neurotransmitter is released, it is causing some chemical reaction on the postsynaptic membrane, and thereafter what happens to the neurotransmitter? See here, the neurotransmitter which is released into the synaptic cleft is either taken back into the presynaptic neuron, or it is broken down by means of enzymes. Because if it is remaining there forever, it will continuously cause chemical reaction on the postsynaptic neuron. Actually, that should not be permitted. The neurotransmitter should be released. It should cause a reaction only upon the arrival of an action potential here. When the action potential is not there, there should not be any neurotransmitter in the synaptic cleft. So once the action potential is coming here, neurotransmitter is released. It is binding with the postsynaptic neuron receptor. It is causing some chemical reactions on the postsynaptic neuron. Thereafter, immediately, either the neurotransmitter is taken back into the presynaptic neuron, or it is broken down by means of enzymes. It may also diffuse away from the synapse. Okay, and what happens here? Localized membrane potential. When the neurotransmitter is released, it is binding with the receptor, it is opening a channel, and it will lead to chemical reactions on the other side of the membrane. So this is a very good example for voltage gated channels and also signaling molecule operated channels. Another type of receptors is protein linked hormone receptor. You see, many hormones activate receptors that indirectly regulate the activity of target proteins. So first of all, the hormones are combining with the receptors. The receptor in turn will regulate activity of some other proteins. That protein in turn may be an enzyme, may be an ion channel. How is it mediated? By means of GTP binding proteins. Let us come to the next slide to see a picture. This is the example. What you see here is a membrane of a cell, and this part is actually the receptor, the membrane receptor, and this receptor has a domain outside the membrane with which the hormone is to bind, and it has a domain inside the membrane with which a G protein is actually interacting. So there is an external domain where the hormone is linked. There is a receptor region here, binding region here, and there is a cytoplasmic region or a region of the receptor inside the membrane with which a G protein is associated. In between, there is a region of the receptor which is coiled and spanning across the membrane several times. How many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So typically, this receptor, this G protein coupled receptor, passes across the membrane 7 times. Make a note of it. And when the hormone is binding with the receptor on the outside part of the receptor, it is inducing the G protein to interact with the cytoplasmic region of the receptor. Point 1. Point 2. That moment G protein is active. Earlier it was inactive. What do we mean by saying that it is active? It is binding with a GTP. In the inactive condition, the alpha subunit of the G protein was bound with the GDP. Now, in the active condition, the GDP is removed from there. Instead, it is binding with the GTP. Now, the G protein is active. And what was the purpose of the binding of hormone? The purpose of the hormone binding was to activate the G protein. Now, what happens, this GTP activated protein is now interacting with another molecule. What do you see here? It is activating another molecule. It is a protein molecule. This activation will lead to a series of biochemical reactions inside the cell. You see here, the same thing is written here. Many types of G protein coupled receptors are given here, and they loop in and out of the cell membrane. Some part of the receptor that protrude into the cell cytoplasm coupled with the G protein. G protein has 3 components: alpha, beta, and gamma. When the ligand, that is the hormone, binds to the extracellular part of the receptor, a conformational change occurs there inside the, on the inner part of the receptor, and it will activate G proteins, and this in turn will open or close other channels. That is what we found here. Now, this is another type of receptor. This is an enzyme linked receptor. It's called a leptin receptor because leptin, a molecule, is bound there. This is the receptor. It has a homodimer, means similar type of molecules, 2 in number. Homodimer is there. With the homodimer receptor, leptin is bound, and it has a region on the inside of the membrane. This is the cytoplasmic region. What happens? Binding of leptin on the leptin receptor on the extracellular surface leads to two types of reactions. This is reaction 1 and this is reaction 2. What happens there? Point 1, it is actually activating Janus kinase. You can see here, JAK2. It is this binding of leptin is activating JAK2. You just learned that it is activating a protein. That in turn will be phosphorylated. It will activate enzymes. It will have physiological effects. One way. Second way, the same JAK2 proteins will activate some genes in the nucleus. It will activate some genes in the nucleus. The genes undergo transcription, translation, proteins are produced, and again leading to physiological effect. So the ultimate purpose is to bring about chemical reactions and thereby physiological effect. It is achieved by these two different pathways. And then enzyme linked hormone receptors. In this case, some receptors, when activated, function directly as enzymes or they are closely associated with enzymes. What happens here? Let us go to another slide. This is not that one. Actually, the slide is the previous one. These enzyme linked receptors are proteins that pass across the membrane only once. Remember, in the previous slide, we found that the membrane is being passed by the receptor 7 times. By contrast, this membrane, this receptor is passing through the membrane only once. Now what happens? Then the hormone binding on the outside of the cell membrane causes an activation of the receptor on the inside of the membrane, and it will lead to a series of chemical reactions. Actually, that is what we found here. Okay. Now, what about the receptors of steroid hormones? The receptors of steroid hormones may be present either in the cytoplasm or in the nucleus. Whatever it is. The lipophilic hormones can easily diffuse across the plasma membrane, and it will combine with the receptor in the cytoplasm. And if not, the lipophilic hormone can easily pass through the membrane of the nucleus, nuclear envelope, and it can bind with the receptor within the nucleus. Whatever it is, result is the same. Even if the hormone receptor complex is formed in the cytoplasm, it can diffuse across the nuclear envelope into the nucleus. There, the receptor hormone complex is interacting with the DNA. It is transcribed into mRNA. It is translated into proteins in the cytoplasm. Whatever it is, the protein product is produced. Next topic is secondary messengers. We will see in another slide.